Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the third film in the Ant-Man franchise and the 31st in the Marvel Universe, has been released. In the movie, Ant-Man and his family are accidentally stranded in the quantum realm, a mysterious world even smaller than subatomic particles. We then follow our friends' efforts to return to their own world. Marvel's new villain Kong has an important role in the movie. How does the story of the Marvel Universe unfold? Was the movie good? Was the new villain of the universe as powerful as Thanos? I'm answering all these questions now. First of all, I would advise everyone to watch the movie and form their own opinion and not to pay too much attention to movie critics. So what did I think about the movie? Friends, this movie was one of the most boring and one of the worst movies I've seen recently. I think Ant-Man 3 is by far the worst Marvel movie. If you are still watching movies and having fun, please don't mind me, and don't think that this man doesn't like anything and doesn't know how to have fun. I didn't like this movie because I've seen very good box office movies and Ant-Man 3 was below average for me. I'll go into details in a moment. As for Ant-Man 3, I don't know why this happened, but when I watched Ant-Man 3, I didn't feel like I was watching a real movie. Marvel movies used to take place in real locations. A character could move around and interact with objects. In this movie, it's shot entirely in front of a green screen or LED screen. The characters are just standing there for most of the movie. Normally in these kinds of movies the actors know a little bit about the environment they are in and act accordingly, but in this movie, the actors don't seem to know anything. So while watching the movie, I felt like I was watching the actor Paul Rudd and not the character Ant-Man. Since Marvel is constantly releasing movies, visual effects are usually not the strongest point of their movies. However, this movie has a complete mess. Marvel should not cut back on visual effects and do everything with visual effects in order not to lose its audience. Apart from the bad visual effects, the quantum world seems interesting at first, but then it gets boring. I'm not kidding. When I watched the movie, I felt like I was watching the world's first movie made entirely with artificial intelligence, be it the actors, the script, the direction. Many viewers have complained about the lack of story progression in Marvel's recent movies and TV series. Yes, the story did move forward in the movie, but it made me less excited and more curious about what was to come. As you know, Marvel tries to somehow convince the audience to watch the next movie in every movie. It's easy to be convinced when watching a good movie, but when watching a bad movie, I can't wonder how the story will continue, so I won't talk about the secret scenes at the end of the movie. The character who plays Kong, the villain of the movie, tells us with his facial expressions that he has seen a lot and experienced a lot. With this movie, all the characters who knew Kong told us how powerful and dangerous he was, but Kong didn't do anything impressive after his appearance. The character was no different from a normal Marvel villain. Will Marvel, always trying to tell a bigger story, be able to tell an original story in future Avengers movies? I am also worried about the screenwriters of the next Avengers movies, because the director of Ant-Man 3 is also the director of the next Avengers movie. Of course, I don't know how much the screenwriters are to blame for bad projects. After all, screenwriters can't have too much freedom in Marvel movies. Friends, the script of Ant-Man 3 is too cliched and shallow, and not exciting at the same time. Another interesting aspect of the movie is Ant-Man's daughter. You've probably forgotten, but this character was played by another actor in Endgame. I understand that Marvel didn't have much confidence in this actor, so they chose this more popular guy for the role without telling him. Frankly, it was a shame that they chose someone else for the role without telling him. The funny thing is that this new actor doesn't give a good performance. When I was watching the movie, I didn't feel for a moment that these two were father and daughter, and I only laughed at one or two jokes because nothing felt real. I think the most logical thing for the Marvel Universe after Endgame is to take a break from the story for a while. Actually, Kevin Feige plans what's going to happen in the Marvel Universe, but I'm sure that when Kevin Feige made the first Iron Man movie, he didn't think that the series would last 30 movies and he didn't plan the story that far in advance. Our friend is now writing new stories and trying to connect them somehow to the old movies, but as the story progresses it becomes more and more difficult to do so, which is a problem that writers usually face in comics. The more you expand the world, if you keep telling one story in the same universe, after a while things get cliched. I think that's one of Marvel's biggest problems right now. When Marvel starts making a good movie later on, I think a lot of the currently disappointed viewers will start watching the franchise again, but for that to happen Marvel needs to make fewer movies from now on. It used to be that people could watch 1 or 2 videos and go to the Avengers movies without watching all the Marvel movies. But now you need to watch a lot of videos to understand the full story. If this doesn't happen, Marvel will lose its mainstream audience and will be left with only the series' hardcore fans. In short, apart from 1 or 2 interesting scenes in the movie and Jonathan Majors' acting, I didn't like Ant-Man 3. Yes, friends, we have come to the end of another video. You can write your thoughts about the movie in the comments and subscribe to my channel. Take care and see you in other videos.